Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today, with the recent release of the new Lord of Calamity collab Hinata, we now have enough characters. Well, I mean, we've had enough, but we're actually going to do a video. And Dark EX Unbounds have been a thing for a while. We've gotten quite a few of them, and a lot of them are pretty good. And we know that the next meta that is incoming will also be dark focused. And so we have to wait and see what that's going to do because that's still like a week away. But I figured I would do a nice little video here just using a full EX Unbound dark team. So we're going to put this Hinata with these characters. Don't mind the supports, I haven't fixed those yet, and don't mind the Protector. But we've got Blanc, who we know is stupid good. We have Goblet, who is pretty good. We have Divine General Diablo, who is still good 7 months later, 8 months later now. And then we have ODL Milim, who is just a bit older than Diablo. But we've got Rainbow Orbs, we've got the green buff and the synergy, we've got Pierce and the element down, we've got the big time damage buff and the orange buff and the 40 points, and then we've got Hinata, who's triple orb stealing, who could be a single target DPS, or she could orb steal for Blanc, and she could be an AoE DPS. So, like, this team, while only being one element, I think can actually run pretty well, because I think what we can do is we can use Hinata to steal into Milim, who makes rainbows, who then gives it to Blanc, or maybe we do it the opposite way, or maybe we don't even do the steal with, because Milim's rainbow orbs changes herself and ODL, which, we only have one ODM up front. So yeah, we would like steal into 6 rainbows and give it to either Hinata or Blanc. I think this could be a viable strategy, and since Dark is at minimum type neutral, and at best type advantage against everything, I think we can actually do some decent damage here. So let's test it out and see how much damage we can do with a mono element team. Alright, we're going to go into the EX Quest Part 2 versus Xion, who has a decent amount of HP, 7.5 million. We're going to be type neutral. The stage doesn't want us to use greens at all, so we're going to run with the orange team with Himmel. And we're going to try and stack and survive. Now, the Xion can hit pretty hard, so we are putting on the heal charm on Himmel instead of the protection gauge charm, which could bite us in the ass, but I want to make sure we can actually get to turn 8, because for the first 8-7 turns, there's a huge 80% nerf to our ult damage, and that's really not what we want to deal with. We just want to make sure that people are going to survive long enough. But this team does have some viability, as I said. You know, we've got synergy, we've got Pierce. I know that Xion has a lot of that nerfed, but I still think we should be okay. So here, let's go ahead and yoink Gobta out, and we'll just triple orb steal with Hinata, and we'll change a lot of those orbs. Let's buff whatever we don't steal, and then we'll get, I think, 4 oranges, sure. And that gets us almost an EX ult, not quite though. Ooh, that's not a lot of damage on those nerf greens. Alright, but you know, depending on how this plays out, we might be able to get a kill. Again, assuming that everyone can live. We just have to get access to Himmel first off. So let's bring Blanc in for Milim. And then use the orange buff and give us the 40 points. So now that we can actually steal some orbs and convert them, we can get access to Himmel next turn, and then we don't really have to worry about converting at that point. And we should now have the EX ult for Hinata. Yeah, there we go. And every time we send an orb with this state, we're getting extra dark attack. Every time we send an ult, we get extra dark attack. So we are just continually making Hinata stronger and stronger and stronger. So because we are on a stacking orange team, after this turn, points are not going to be a super huge difference maker. So let's just, I think, continue to try and buff Hinata as much as possible, and we'll make her the primary big-time nuker, and the heal charm will keep us nice and topped up for the most part. So let's steal, let's put some debuffs on, that way we can max out Gobwa's Pierce Resistance skill, so by turn 8 it will actually be useful. Not that it isn't useful, it's not what I'm saying, but she does have a lot of pierce resistance right here, and we have to be able to overcome that first. She also has a lot of synergy resistance, and we're running a pierce and synergy focused team first off, so I'm not entirely sure how well that's going to go. Again, I haven't attempted to run the stage with this team yet, so it could go either way. But I think we can get this done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Now the oranges are not getting buffed anymore. Yeah, let's just do this. Alright, 25,000 damage. The 80% nerf to our ult is just horrendous. So I don't really try. I was gonna try and bring in like a burst team here, but I thought better of it because there's no way we're gonna kill 7.5 million HP with an 80% nerf to our ult. Alright, that hand is really not that great. So, and we also don't have an EX ult for her anymore. But I mean, no matter what, we're going to get that stacking dark attack. That's what I was thinking about. Why couldn't I think of that? But let's bring Blanc in again and use her orange buff. Boom. And then we can yoink those orbs. I don't know if just 3 of them are going to get us for EX ult, so we might have to do it one more turn. Or a couple more turns. No, it does, actually. So that's good. I wonder if we should also get a Milim EX ult, just as extra insurance. I think we could probably do that. We gotta break the barrier here, so I think this is a good turn just to hold on to Hinata's ult in general. And I just have to pray that no one dies here. So let's steal. Boom. That'll give us a lot of Hinata orbs, which we can then bring in. Actually, let's bring in Diablo for fun. And then let's use his green buff. Because I think the orange buff has run out. No, it's still got one more turn. Alright, we don't have to do that yet. But this will definitely get Milim's EX ult, because it's going to be 5 rainbows and a Blanc ult. So let's just do that. We could use Milim's extra pierce and synergy skill, but that would actually hurt our damage in the long run right now. I know there's a barrier, so it's not going to do anything. But with the synergy resistance and the pierce resistance that Xion has, there's no real point in doing that right now. But now it's broken. As long as we can survive this ult and make it to turn 8, we're going to be okay. As long as we can survive this ult. Survive the ult. Okay, we should be fine. Alright, thank God. Alright, so Milim's got her EX. That's fantastic. Let's bring Hinata back in for Milim. Let's get another ult and get everything else and just make her as strong as possible. We'll do the final orange buff here. How many points do we need to nuke? 9, 18, 27. We got plenty. Alright, so let's put the debuffs on because they last for 2 turns. And then, yeah, I think we should be just about almost capped out on debuffs. So let's heal Blanc a little bit with Himmel. This actually worked pretty well. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with Himmel. But there's maximum points. 450 means that we have more than enough to do what we need to do here. And now I just pray that between the dark debuff and the physical and the magic debuff and the pierce and all the dark attack that Hinata's been stacking up this entire time, that our 2 single target ults that are no longer nerfed can get the job done. So let's do the dark debuff and damage buff. Boom. Hinata's skill is going to be useful, but not as useful as I would like it to be because of the fact that no one is giving us crit. No, we gotta take Blanc out of here. So Diablo for the synergy buff. I really hope she doesn't continually buff her resistance, otherwise it's really gonna be bad. But let's bring Milim in now. Alright, so we'll do this skill. We've got the ult down. I mean, if we were to naturally crit, we would do a lot of damage, which would be cool. Let's do the extra debuffs to make sure that our pierce resistance skill is capped out. There we go, 27 stacks. And then we'll use it. So full 120 pierce resistance down. We still have 55 points, but, I mean, we already have a full hand of oranges. But I guess it would enhance our orange damage, or our rainbow orb damage for Milim. So we might as well. And then use Himmel for that final stack. Let's turn the animations on, that way we can actually see both of these alts. Alright, so, how much resistance do you have? 50%. Alright, so that hasn't changed. Oh, she's got extra dark resistance down because we broke her barrier, that's right. Weakness resistance doesn't matter because we're type neutral. Dark plus down, alt down, crit resistance down, not that it matters. Pierce resistance down. Alright, Hinata, how much dark attack do you have, actually? Where? It's up here. 406% dark attack. That's the permanent stacks of Himmel and her own buff. 406. I do want to see that first. Actually, I want to see how much our orbs do. And then we'll send Hinata. 298, 705. Okay, we're good. We're good. This will do 1.4 million damage. And then Hinata, I mean, she's going to do probably like 10? Maybe that's a bit high. We're not critting. And our synergy and pierces are kind of still nerfed. 9. Oh, very close. I was pretty close, and that was easily a one-shot. Milim would not have done that much damage, because she didn't have 400% dark attack. She had 100%. But she would have done probably about half of the damage that Hinata just did. Even with the same kind of buffs. I mean, that wasn't a very hard team to run. Like, we watched the entire thing. I didn't speed this up. This is a live run. I mean, that's pretty good. Obviously, it's built around Hinata stealing and getting a ridiculous amount of dark attack. But, I mean... Who's gonna really argue that that was a bad showing with a full mono dark team going into a fight where half of our synergy and half of our pierce power was nerfed, essentially? Man, where else can I take this? That would be kind of funny to watch. Let me find something. Alright, so we can attempt to go into at least EX2 beatdown battle. I don't know if it's going to do Inferno. It's not the meta, so it's going to lack on power. But if we can make Blanc the AoE nuker now, I mean, this is still an orange-focused team, especially if you bring Shuna now, we can definitely make Blanc do damage. And they don't have that much HP, but there's really nothing else to really do here. I mean, Heavenly Conquest of Eldora is now out, but it's... I mean, we would two-turn that or something, so... at least we can give Blanc a spotlight, since she is, like, arguably the best character in the game right now. The only problem is that this team is very much built on synergy and pierce, and this stage, funnily enough, nerfs synergy and pierce. So, are we actually going to hit that? Debatable. There is a way that we can get everything active, so in the event that we do hit both synergy and pierce, that will do pretty good damage. Because it's like a 50% nerf or something to our rate. So here, we're just going to send the Milim orbs, and then pray that we get 3 Diablo orbs or something, which, you know, that technically does work. We can still work with that. I would have preferred the Milim orb or the Gobble orb to be green. Oh well. Alright, so let's do a debuff with Gobble there. Perfect. We'll bring Milim in, or not Milim, we'll bring Hinata in for Diablo. We'll yoink everything here, and then we'll bring Blanc in, use her orange buff, and it'll buff everything, almost. And we'll get the EX ult, and we'll get the extra points, and it'll be looking pretty good for the next turn. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not capped out yet because of that stupid green orb. Not a big deal. We just need to be capped out on turn 3. Like, at the end of turn 3, we need to have maximum points, is what we're looking for. So, let's see. Boom. Thank you. Alright, yeah, love the counters. Alright, that's not a great hand, but because Shuna's going to convert everything and add 2 rainbows, it's not that big a deal. So, let's take... let's actually do 1 more Gobwa, so we can get her debuffs even higher. So she only needs 4 more debuffs now. So let's take Blanc out of here. We will use Diablo's big time synergy buff, and then we'll hold off, and we'll hopefully cap out here. Because we need to be capped out. Like, I already ran this once, so I know it works, but... Alright, perfect. There we go. Because we need to have 130 points, or 230 points total on turn 5 for this to work. And for that, I need to sack off this next turn and just get the free 30 that we're going to get. So the stun really doesn't matter. So we're going to go up to 180. And then once we send this, the turn after, we're going to go to 210. And then we get the extra 20 points from Blanc's skill. And that will give us to 230. And that is exactly enough to do what we need to do here. So let's go ahead and bring Hinata in for Milim. Boom. We'll use her skill, which is a debuff, which is going to enhance the pierce resistance as well. Boom. And it's 3 debuffs, technically, so that works even better. And then Hinata for Blanc. We'll use her big time buff, which is going to be the final debuff that we need to cap, because it only takes 20 debuffs to do it. And then the points, we're going to get 40 back, which puts us at 50, which allows us to use the guaranteed pierce and the pierce resistance down 120%. So, the only problem is that Blanc does not have Lord's Ambition. So, we have the Pierce and Synergy rate nerf of 50%. So there's a 50% chance that we're going to hit each of these. I don't like that, but if we can hit both of them on at least one person, we can get a good idea of what her damage output would be here. And let's go ahead and turn her ult on. And yeah, let's just pray. So, 300k right there. We hit both procs. Excellent. Can we hit both procs on like at least one of the enemies? I don't care who. I just want to see our maximum damage output with this build. Yeah, type neutral in the setting where they do have physical resistance, but whatever. 4.2 million. Nice. All right, we actually hit it on Gobta. Good job, Gobta, for being a bitch. 4.2 million. I mean, that's not bad in a stage where we're getting our Pierce and our Synergy nerfed, and our Power nerfed as well, because they have resistance. So that was only essentially 50% Synergy Power and 70% Pierce resistance down, because they had 50% natural resist, and they had physical resistance, and I think they had ult resistance too. Or our ult was nerfed, one of the two, I can't remember, but there were a lot of nerfs that we were having to combat, and we still did 4.2 on a full mono dark team. So I'd call that a pretty big success right there. So, I think we can safely end the video. And yeah, I mean, I like this team. It works well, it runs well. As long as you can fully use Pierce and Synergy, then you're going to do butt tons of damage. We know that Hinata and Blanc by themselves can do a butt ton of damage. So, I kind of like this. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of these mono element teams with EX Unbound characters. I get we can't do it with every element because we don't have that many for some elements, but as they become more prominent, would you like to see more videos like this that we do just for fun? Let me know your thoughts, but that's it from me. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.